Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this beautiful live stream on the 29th of September. And I'm joined by the lovely Mod JD. Say hi.
Hello, it feels weird to be on this side of the coin for a change.
I like it better this way, JD. And we've got, of course, got Mod Osborne with us. Say hi as well.
What's up? You can't get rid of me.
Mod Osborne's been putting in loads of early noughties references. He's got another one in there straight away.
Oh,
I'm gonna get a pound for everyone.
Okay, you're going to donate those to charity, right? Each pound of those, each one of them.
Oh no. No, I'm gonna.
Oh, I would have doubled them. Each pound you would have donated, I would have doubled that.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, last but not least, we've got Timbo with us as well. Say hi to.
Hello.
There we go. Got a full squad, a full house, and we've got tons of questions from all of you as well. Before we get into that, I'm just gonna quickly reiterate what we've had last Thursday, and I think many of you have already seen the live stream. But RuneScape is going to come to Steam, so we're very excited for that. We've also got a couple of questions about Steam in the Q&A today, so we'll get later to those. But RuneScape is going to release on Steam on the 14th of October with all kinds of bells and whistles, so get ready for that. And then JD wrote the beautiful line in the script as well, and that is about the archaeology amnesty period. Is there something in particular you would like to say about that, JD?
Well, more just the fact that at the moment, as I say, we had a little bit of a mix-up with the comms yesterday when we put it out, the news post. The archaeology grace period finishes on the 19th of for bonus XP. This is on the 19th of October. Apologies, there was a bit of confusion there, and the Yak Track bonus will still come into effect from the 30th. So don't worry if you've got that in already, or you're hoping to get that, will still be in place. But the other bonus XP amnesty stuff will come in from the 19th. Yeah, apologies on the comm side for that one. There's a little bit of a mix-up internally, but we hopefully that makes it a little bit clearer.
It's worth noting that the grace periods are still staying on the 30th. That's not moving. So for achievements, etc., that remains.
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Without further ado, I suggest we just start getting into the questions from the Q&A, and I've tried to group them up a little bit this time. I see a lot of people commenting on my spooky lighting. Thank you very much. I've tried very hard. Almost Halloween, so we're getting there. There are quite a few questions related to Orthen. We've talked small bits about it. So that creates a couple of questions. So I've picked a couple of the questions that I think we can potentially answer. And the first one, and I'll ask it to you, Mod Osborne. So what will the level requirements be for the Orthen Dig side? And will the content of the Orthen Dig side have a similar approach and progression to the existing ones, or are we going to try something completely different with the Orthen Dig side?
Yeah, cool. So when we looked at what kind of level boundaries to address in archaeology, there are a couple of gaps, I would say. You know, we don't want to ignore that kind of 50-60 band that kind of has a bit of a drop off. But the other one really was at the top end. Actually, when we first designed archaeology, we had designed Orthen at the same time. Our own very own Mod Timbo had put together the design for that, and it was cracking. But as with the perils of any game development, it kind of it never materialized, and a lot of the higher level boundaries were covered by some of the earlier dig sites. So things like Warforged and Stormguard kind of took us up to 120 anyway. But what we really wanted to address was, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm doing a drum roll. It was level 90 upwards. So getting to the dig site is level 90 archaeology. We also ask for associate level, I believe it is, and completion of desperate measures. I think you'll also have to have started your base camp because the dig site, kind of the opening dig site area is within the base camp. So you'll have had to have made some way through Anachronia to get there. But as with kind of similar dig sites, there are excavation sites unlocked at various points from 90 to 120. And we've gone for a kind of similar to Infernal Source, but also quite new, which is you're almost discovering the excavation sites as you go along. They're not immediately apparent when you get to Anachronia. So it's more about completing mysteries, and gaining the archaeology levels allows you to get to the next chunk of excavation nodes. and then you might jump into somewhere new. We've got other live streams planned and more information to be revealed and more marketing to be done, etc., and probably some videos with me in a hat. But to go into it, but we discrete sites with different themes, and they're really, really good. Very chuffed.
Cool. I was almost like, oh, you're starting to reveal too much there, Model Spawn. I hope my audio
That's really not my thing.
Well, no, it's not your thing. No, you're not known for doing.
That's not what I do. Yeah.
You're always very enthusiastic about it, and that's also why I'd like to have you on the live streams, Model Spawn. I hope my audio is a bit better now. I saw a couple of humans comment on it, but we'll continue tweaking it in the background as well. There was one other very frequently asked questions about the Orthen Dick side, and they were wondering if there will be something similar, like the Inquisitor stuff pieces or the spear tips, like we have on all the Dick sides. Is that something you would like to say something about, Model Spawn or Timbo?
So there won't be a high-level weapon from Orthen. So there won't be a staff and there won't be a spear-type weapon from Orthen, but there will be relics. There will be other high-level in-game rewards for people to get involved with. I don't think we're revealing much this week, are we? So I won't say too much more than that.
No, I mean, a couple of things that we have tried to do with our rewards is, one is that we know that there's a lot of feedback that came off the back of archaeology, things that people wanted. You've probably seen Reddit threads, with certain issues with relics and stuff like that, and we've kind of addressed those with the rewards. So that's one avenue of the rewards. The other one is that we kind of want to get innovative. It's not necessarily about repeat releasing, Inquisitor style rewards. We've gone for something new here. So. Yeah, we'll start seeding it over the next couple of weeks. Sorry, it's not a huge glut of information right here, but it should be good.
Yeah, but basically we looked at archaeology, we got all the feedback, and made Orthen better than it was going to be on release. And probably not as big as it would have been, potentially, but there's a lot of good reasons to come here as a high-level player, regardless of what playstyle you are.
Cool. All right. I think the plan is that we will be digging more into Orthen probably next week.
Nice.
I like the pun there as well. So stay tuned.
Stop digging, it's excavation.
Low-level pun.
God damn it.
Excavating into Orthen. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well, does it?
No.
And
I think we'll be giving people a release date next week as well, won't we, Poerkie? We'll be giving players a release date.
Yes. So stay tuned for that. And then the penultimate question, I think, is the right terminology I'm using here, regarding Orthen. What is the colour of the soil on Orthen going to be? Is it going to be orange, and is it going to complete the rainbow? You have to tell us
all the right questions.
Model Spawn.
I love that. It's just so vital question. We saw the thread. We saw the thread that people wanted to complete the rainbow and taste it, probably. The story, guys, we have actually gone black on the soil. I feel really guilty for not giving people what they want. It's a volcanic island with black sand and soil. So far we've gone black. If you want to apply pressure on Mod Roly and Mod Timbo, please do.
Yeah.
Not giving not offering any hints or pitchforks or anything like that.
No.
Also,
brigading.
Also, Poerkie, I bet that's gutting for you, being Dutch as well, not having orange.
I mean, yeah, I was. I even recalled asking this question: is can we make the color of the soil orange? And then I think I got the response. It's is it because you're Dutch or something as well? So, but it was actually to complete the rainbow. I am definitely in camp make the soil orange, and I think the best way to achieve that is just by sending pictures of orange items and tag Timbo and Mod Rowley in that. I think that is a very wholesome approach there.
Yeah, as an orange-haired man, he should understand and appreciate orange.
It's orange these days.
Well,
so that's Jagex Timbo and Jagex Rowley. Tell them we sent you.
All right. Enough about the lovely orange soil.
Can I just answer a few questions quickly?
Yes, go for it. Go for it.
Number one, I am alive. Hello, this is Mod Timbo. I just don't have a webcam, so you can enjoy this mid-lockdown picture of me where I've actually had a shave. So that's enjoyable. So don't worry about that. And number two, Orthen glass will be used in Orthen, but like other dig sites, there will be 5 new unique materials. Maybe I'm spoiling too much, but I mean it's pretty obvious. There'll be 5 new materials that you can only get while excavating at Orthen, and they'll be the primary use for restoring artifacts there. But yeah, there's some questions I wanted to drop in.
All right, cool. Well, now you're talking also about archaeology in general, Timbo.
Yeah.
Currently, you can get tomes if you're excavating, and if you've reached 200 mil XP or you've got your 120, they no longer seem to have a use for many people. Do we have any plans to make them exchangeable for supplies or gold?
We have no plans right now. The design intention for tomes was that they were a nice surprise. It was like a thematic way to earn XP lamps while you're training the skill, and I think they did that. They're really fun to get hold of when you're training the skill, but there's no plans to make it hand-inable, convertible into something else. Maybe in the future, as more and more people get to 120 and 200 million, we'll look into it. But there's no plans right now.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on to Steam. And of course, I think one of the big fears that we had, or a little bit of a fear that we had, is once we announced mobile, we very clearly said, like, this is not going to impact us. And obviously there have been times that we've had to allocate some resources to mobile or to slow down these things. So obviously that is a worry for Steam as well. Mod JD, can you tell us a little bit about if Steam would do the same?
All the easy questions. Thanks, Poerkie. No,
You're welcome.
I am going to be the mouthpiece today. So I don't know if you remember the last Q&A that we did. Mod Hooley was here, and we kind of crowdsourced the answers to some of these questions so that you guys get the responses that you need. But obviously, we can't have 50 different members of the team on the live stream at the same time. So I'm going to be the mouthpiece today for some of these questions because Mod Hooley is unfortunately not very well. So I'm just going to try and rattle through some of these and get you the answers that you need. In short, we don't see a massive impact. Steam is essentially a new way to access RuneScape, and because it will still be on your PC. Mobile requires a lot more kind of bespoke work, so we don't foresee there being sort of any real impact into the development schedule or anything like that.
Cool, thank you very much. And then we've got another one for you, I think, JD. So of course we hope that Steam will bring us tons of new players. What work needs to be done on improving the new game experience, you think? Or do you think as Dega?
I suppose the question really is that there are areas that we feel like we want to try and improve, but we need to do more research, and we need to do more. I suppose difficulty that we have with being such a long-standing game is that it's very difficult to get genuine new players into the game. And what we probably need to do is we need to do a bit more research on those genuinely new players, what their kind of expectations are for an MMO in 2020, and if we cut the mustard at this stage, obviously Steam will give us a real opportunity to bring in some of those players and find out what their thoughts are. But I think what we're going to be looking to do as well is kind of do things like focus groups, bring in some players who wouldn't otherwise perhaps have chosen RuneScape. Bring them in, see what their thoughts are. Are there particular areas that they find really difficult to get over? Are there particular areas that actually we could be doing more to promote and more to kind of allow easy access or accessibility to them? So I think it's kind of a we need to do a little bit more research on it. It's not quite as wholesome an answer perhaps as you wanted, Poerkie, but I know Mod Osborne as well. You're kind of looking at new players as a real kind of focus, particularly with mobile down the line as well.
Yeah, you're spot on. That mobile is a huge opportunity next year, and so that's kind of something that we're working towards. I'd like to clear that actually also a lot of the focus testing and research and market research stuff that we've done. We've actually done a large body of that already, and in the lead up to development of mobile. So it's not as if we're just kicking that off now that we've realised Steam is out and these kind of things. We have been working on it quite heavily. But I've come into the CXP team. I'm really hoping we can get them exposed to you guys, talking about what we are doing. It would be really good to get them on a live stream and talk about some things, because at the moment it probably feels quite invisible. But very specifically, like we have a team dedicated to the UI and UX flow of the game. They're looking at everything from login, character create, getting into the game, all of these things, the interactions in the game, the top level UI, all of these things are being improved as current. And I've been brought in, parachuted in, to really kind of look at the opening game experience and really try to capture. I keep talking about foregrounding the joy, but capturing what is good about RuneScape and presenting that as early as possible. Mobile players don't play. They only take kind of 30 seconds, a minute to really form an opinion on the game. There's so many other games out there to distract. So we've got to really kind of showcase what RuneScape can do in the opening section. And at the moment, I mean, if we're being critical, it doesn't do that at the moment. But we've got an opportunity here, and we've got lots of things that we could be doing, and I'm just going to get that in there before launch.
I love the idea of bringing in the team to do a live stream to show some of the stuff that they're working on. We'll put that into the. I know we had the Pi pad in the past. I put it onto the JD pad. And we can see what we can do.
Let's do it. I mean, there's an assumption I think that people aren't interested in what we're doing to the opening game and what would bring in new players, just because most people who watch a live stream are kind of high level active players. It's not. I don't think it's true. I think a lot of people are genuinely interested in how we can, get people in and get the game flourishing even more than it is.
Oh, absolutely. I think that the fact that the question even got asked just shows that a lot of the players are really passionate about this as well, and that they're really keen to make it a success and help with this as well.
That's the pad. It's going in there. There we go.
On brand, like it.
Nice. Glad you've got that next to you, JD. Mine is, I think, somewhere in a bag.
This is the advantage of being at my desk rather than being on the sofas of the in the live streaming room. So.
Yeah. Cool. Another Steam question. So, will the Steam launch affect? Hold on. So, if with Steam, there will be trading cards and icons or badges you can gather. Are there any other benefits why you want to convert from a desktop player to a Steam player or start playing it on Steam?
I suppose really it's just wherever it's easiest for you to play the game, really. There's not an awful lot of difference between the experiences that you'll get within Steam and the game client, to be honest with you. It's just a new way to play. There will be 15 trading cards, there'll be 20 achievements, there'll be 6 badges and 6 emotes that you can get within Steam. But I mean, beyond that, there will be sort of membership options for those that don't already have membership that you can purchase through Steam. But beyond that, there's not really an awful lot of difference between a person playing on Steam and a person playing on the client. And I think that's what we really want to try and push, to be honest with you. I think what we want to try and do is democratize the gaming experience for all RuneScape players, and it doesn't really matter whether you're playing on Steam, it doesn't matter whether you're playing on client or on mobile. We just want as many people playing and enjoying the game as we can.
It should be the same experience whatever you kind of decide to do, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think that's the general vision of what Mod Warden and the rest of the team wants to try and push forward. So
a couple of the players have also been raising similar questions along the veins of, now RuneScape will be on Steam. We are somewhat concerned about the performance. Could we get servers in South America, for example? Or we get more servers, because sometimes the servers tend to lag or slow down a little bit if there are many players on them. Is that something we are aware of, JD?
You know what? Looking at the script, it is something that we're aware of, Poerkie, and it's something that we're going to be doing something about. No, we have heard concerns, and that's from you guys who are playing the game, but also people who have been coming for archaeology. We're kind of around at the peak of the sort of the COVID lockdown situation, where we know that there was perhaps some issues with players playing the game, and we're investigating what we can do prior to launch, really, in terms of servers in particular. So we haven't kind of decided whereabouts those servers might be yet, but it's something that we're looking at, and we'll of course continue to try and do things in the background which are also going to try and improve performance for not just players in those areas or different geographies, but also anybody who's playing on the west coast of the USA, for instance, or in the UK or Germany or anywhere else for that matter. And there's a lot of work that's been going on behind the scenes. Again, it's not really stuff that gets an awful lot of airtime, but there's a lot of stuff that the guys have been doing behind the scenes, particularly from the tech team, to kind of improve performance for the majority of players by sort of making some really impactful changes kind of behind the scenes to try and improve people's ability to play the game and to do the activities they enjoy doing.
Cool. Thank you very much for that answer as well. I see a lot of people putting questions in chat as well. Please keep doing that. We are going to go over them at the end. We've got some monitoring our chat as well to pick all of them out and put them at the bottom of the script. So we will get to them in due course. And I've already seen like quite a few there. Just wanted to mention as well. And there's one very quick, direct question, I think, about Steam, a practical question, in fact. If I already have achieved the achievements, do I need to complete these achievements again if I were to play on Steam? Or would I just be able to log in and they would instantly unlock on my account?
It should automatically unlock. So again, we don't want people going through and having to do those tasks again. It should be a matter that you log in, you connect your account to your RuneScape account, and those will be unlocked as you play on Steam, if you're eligible for them, obviously. So it should be a fairly seamless experience. Fingers crossed if you do want to sort of enjoy the game on Steam.
Cool. All right. The script just flashed.
Well, there is one more. Sorry, there is one more.
Cool.
Sorry, there is one.
Oh yeah.
One more thing on Steam, just quickly, because I know we got a lot of questions about it last week. In terms of game time that's transferred over between, so obviously a lot of players have clocked a lot of game time on their RuneScape accounts. Unfortunately, Steam don't let us transfer that over onto a Steam account, so it will be kind of reset from when you start playing on Steam. That'll start clocking your hours in from there on in, rather than it being something where that gets retroactively added in from what you already have on your RuneScape account, because it's technically not been through Steam. So unfortunately, it does mean that you're probably going to have to get another 500 hours or so on your Steam account. Challenge accepted for anybody out there. But yeah, that's unfortunately the way it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Steam thing, right? It only monitors the time you are actually playing the game via Steam.
And I do realize I lowballed 500 hours quite considerably. So
yeah,
but don't encourage it, JD.
I mean, like Steam might not know it, but Hans will definitely know how many hours you've put in the game. So you can always check it there. And if you want to screenshot and then share it, you just can't be proud of it on Steam, sadly. But yeah, I wanted to move over to kind of move away from Steam and more towards the generic questions as well. And I've got kind of a couple of live ops related, and I know you've been speaking to the live ops team to find the answer to some of these questions as well, JD. And there have been quite a few threads in and around the Karapak Yak Track, and there have been kind of a bit of conversation about it potentially feeling as too grindy. Will there be changes for future Yak Tracks, or is this something we're taking into account going forward?
I think what's important to look at with something like Yak Track is that it's kind of, and I'm using a really horrible corporate word, iterative, in that we'll keep on looking at it, we'll keep on trying to kind of improve it from Yak Track to Yak Track. I know that when you kind of, I suppose if you look at the first Yak Track, look at what that offered, and you look at what is now, I think there's quite a lot of change that's happened in that time, and I think positive change for the majority of it as well. There are things that are perhaps not going to be exactly right each time, but we're going to try and work on what we can do to improve that kind of moving forward. And it does mean that things like we need to kind of balance it between the time spent or the amount of money spent and whatever, and obviously the level of the Yak Track as well. So we acknowledge that there's always work to be doing, and we'll try and make sure that what we're doing is improving it for everybody's experiences in future. I think there's the skill and kill task this time around, and obviously some of the lore tasks as well, which I think are new, which I think are a really positive addition, to be perfectly honest with you. So there's always that we're always going to try and do new things with it and see if there's anything that we can improve moving forward. But as I say, I think we do acknowledge there's always areas of improvement for this kind of thing, and it's just an iterative process. Oh, I used the word again. Sorry.
You like it.
We'll get better next time.
I'll
another
iterate on the
relative-
iterate.
Yeah, you do that, more JD. You iterate on being a guest on the Q&A instead of being the host. How will archaeology work with the next XP live event? That's a very frequently asked question as well, JD.
Yeah, so this is me mouthpiecing, unfortunately. So we've just chatted to the live ops team. We haven't made a full decision yet, unfortunately. So ask us again in a couple of weeks, and we'll have full sort of disclosure for you guys.
But it's kind of currently being discussed, and once we know more,
Fights are being had,
back to
basically. We have two sides of an argument we're fighting. Imagine that. It's a royale.
I think a royale is more of like five sides, isn't it? That you'd have 5 sides all fighting at
Yeah,
one
true.
time.
Well, 1500, yeah. They're the full Fall Guys.
Mhm. And then the last one, kind of in this category as well, is a lot of players like the summer and winter weekends that we've had last year, which then offered several different bonuses for various types of content. Is there a chance of this coming back this year?
I think this year probably not. It's not on the roadmap currently, but we are looking at ways that, we can do something similar for particularly, I think, summer next. As to what I think we all kind of understand the player or you guys' desires for this kind of thing. Obviously, it gives a focus to what you want to be training, gives you those bonuses. I think what we're looking at doing at the moment is, because they had got a little bit stale, we're looking at what we can do to try and kind of vamp them up a little bit, make them a bit more exciting for you guys, and obviously that takes a little bit of time. So we're probably going to be doing some work sort of as we're putting together our 2021 plans at the moment, to try and work out how we can do that in an interesting way. And Dave, I don't know if you've got, Mod Osborne, I don't know if you've got any anything else you want to add to that, because I know that you've been part of the design process for it.
Yes, this is a drum I keep banging, so I've got to be careful not to promise something just because I want it, which sometimes works. But I think it was in the period after archaeology where we had a little bit of a dearth of content. I know that there was one particular Reddit thread that went to the top about some things we could do, what it would be like if we did kind of these winter weekends, summer weekends more regularly. And that is something that I'm really personally excited about, the idea of actually every week could be different. And so, we're exploring things like that. We really want to get kind of creative and innovative with it. It doesn't have to be just a retread of summer and winter weekends. We can actually do something that isn't daily scapey, that does actually make you want to play certain kinds of content.
You love a meta shift, don't you, Mod Osborne?
Oh, I keep using the M word. It's terrible. It makes me wonder, do I actually know what the word means? So I've got to actually just stop using it.
Have you? I'm going to sidestep here. Have you brought your dictionary home, Mod Osborne? I know you had one in the office that you sometimes use to lecture me about some words. Do you have that with you at home now?
Well, my laptop would actually be much lower if it wasn't for this dictionary right now, Thesaurus. So
really?
It's actually popping up my laptop right now.
Using it as it was always meant to be made.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's actually making it possible for my huge, expansive face to be taken in by a camera.
Mm-hmm. All right, now we're gonna enter a free-for-all question-wise. I think there's no particular order. There's just going to be all over the place. So I'm warning all of you. But this one is for you, Timbo. Are there plans to add new content or meaningful unlocks to the later levels of some of the less popular skills, such as agility, crafting, and construction?
Sure, we always have plans for such things, but there's nothing to really share with you right now. Those skills have some fundamental problems, especially things like agility, about what is its place in the game, other than just what is the meaningful unlocks, like we've done with archaeology, with herblore and summoning. But yeah, we'll look a little wider than just giving it a bunch of cool high level unlocks.
I think that this year you can expect some work in that kind of area. But Orthen is high level content, and it's going to deliver rewards that attribute not only to archaeology, to other skills that exist at the moment. So I think you can expect something there. And we've talked a little bit about how we're going to look at construction. Obviously, the construction problem isn't just about milestones at the top end. The problem with construction is construction. So there's breadth of things we have to do. We have to make sure it's training. So the problems with skilling at the moment aren't only at the top end, but it's certainly one of the things we're looking to do this year.
Cool.
Nearly spat out my
I
drink
was
there,
distracted for a
Osborne.
Another one for you, Timbo. The double portable effect on the brush of the gods doesn't work for Ironman, which makes it not very appealable for Ironman. Do we currently have any plans to make it better for Ironman? Appealable. Appealable is a word, isn't it? More
less
appealable.
appealing, I think.
More appeal. Less appealing.
More appealing.
Educate me on English.
Where's that dictionary?
Yeah, where's the dictionary, Dave?
Damn it.
Yeah. So like, there's no plans to make it more appealing for Iron Man. Brooch of the Gods is already appealing? ? I know some players don't necessarily think that's the truth, but
can we reveal that Brooch of the Gods is made more often than the amulet?
Well,
I mean, you've just said
it now.
So,
yeah.
Oh, I mean,
yeah, there are more active Brooch of the Gods total in game than there are of Essence of Finales, which I think surprised us a little bit and might surprise the community.
All right. I
yeah,
I don't have much to add there, really.
But yeah, there's no plans to make it better for Iron Man. We don't necessarily design the game around Iron Man, so that's that.
I think that's a fair answer. This is another classic that keeps popping up mod Osborne. Does the Rite of Passage actually have a chance of being made, or do we just let the dream die?
Oh gosh, yeah. Every time we mention the passage, and Aviancy loses his wings. So it depends what you're looking for Rite of Passage. I'm thinking very specifically about very specific players when I'm talking about this. But if you're looking for some of the stories we wanted to tell from Rite of Passage, if you're looking for a focus on Armadil, what it's like to be a guardian of Armadil, or what it's like to be an Aviancy, within story content, within our game, possibly even questing, that will happen. And with Archaeology and Stormguard, that did happen. A lot of the things we wanted to reveal or show Rite of Passage was there. If you're looking for Rite of Passage, a Grand Master, huge quest that explores all of Abernathy, etc., then I would say it's actually less likely than it has ever been, just because of the way that we're embracing kind of continued stories. We want to go certain places with our storylines, as we have with Kerapak, as we will with Elder Gods. It just feels too standalone a piece of content. It's quite hard to bring that into the story we're kind of sweeping through. So I'm so sorry about this, but it is unlikely at the moment that Rite of Passage as a Grandmaster will launch in any time soon.
Thank you for the answer, though, and elaborating a little bit on it, Osborne. This is another question I got asked, and we've been out of way to get an answer for this question as well, and I think you're going to be the lip piece for this one again, JD. We've already seen some of the game updates from the core experience team, like the canopy cutout, the X-ray, and the smooth movement. How is development on the increased tick rate going?
You give me all the fun ones, Poerkie. No, I mean, in terms of core experience as a whole, I think we kind of highlighted this last week in that a lot of the work that they're doing is kind of behind the scenes. Some of the stuff has obviously been released to players. You mentioned canopy cutout, smooth movement, silhouetting. I can't remember the other one now. There was another one. I just completely lost it. And those are all designed to kind of improve player experience across the board, really. And we talked about kind of having that democratized player experience, and that's, I think, what we're trying to do. Tick rate is a difficult one because obviously it's been prototyped. We showed it at RuneFest last year as a potential, and it gives us something to strive towards. And but what unfortunately it does do is it highlights some of the challenges as well on that process that we have, and that's not just getting kind of servers to support it, but it's things like aspects of gameplay, content that would be impacted if we found out it was obviously quite extensive. So we kind of need to reevaluate it at this stage. I think rather than trying to tackle the mountain, we need to try and sort of chop it up into smaller little pieces and try and work through it sort of one step at a time, rather than trying to do the whole thing at the same time. And I think part of that comes with what we were talking about earlier in terms of sort of server optimization bits and pieces that the guys are doing behind the scenes. And we are working on a lot of those at the back end that should help us kind of scale once we decide to push forward with something like tick movement. But I think, tick rate. I think for the moment, as I say, it's probably something that we're tackling sort of in a slightly different way to kind of as was presented at RuneFest. But as I say, it all kind of falls under the umbrella of better technical performance, better server performance, and kind of moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that lengthy in-depth answer there, JD. I think you're
Speaking of
doing
the
a
next
great
question.
job. Yeah, well, I'll give you a second to read it, and we'll come back to it in a second. Timbo, are we planning to look at Dungeoneering and how experience is gained in this skill? Currently, it's very dependent on being in a group to be the most efficient.
Give me solo lodges. Give me.
Yeah, solo in group, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any plans right now, but I mean, that doesn't mean we won't do it in the future. Is basically the TLDR of what I'm going to say.
Dreams.
Nothing more than that, really. I don't want to. There's nothing in the works, no plans. Again, maybe we can address it, maybe Ninja can address it, but there's nothing in the works.
Yeah, well, it is worth adding that, like, for Dungeoneering, over the past couple of years, we have been adding a lot of alternative methods to training Dungeoneering as a skills already, right? So the elite dungeons, shifting tombs, and all those kinds of things. So it's kind of also, that should also help. It's not addressing that, but
yeah, it's quite prominent on
Dungeoneering
as well. In that we know there are certain core issues with Dungeoneering at the moment that Ninja are looking at. Sorry, they're not looking at as in working on it, but it's on that list. Things like kind of combat and bossing isn't quite functioning as it should. So I know that there's a real intent from the team to look at that.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of where do we put our focus, really, isn't it? It's that kind of discussion, and perhaps there are other areas that need that focus more so than maybe Dungeoneering at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. This is the other one. You should be prepared to answer this one now, JD. Now you've read the info. What has happened to the UI scaling? We've had a beta a couple of months ago, but we've not heard much since about this.
Yeah, I mean, I was really excited, I am really excited about this kind of thing, and I think I again mentioned this last week, and that these are some of the things actually that I find some of the most exciting things we're putting out at the moment, really, because it kind of gives us, hopefully gives you guys an indication that we're focusing on the longer term rather than just the kind of the shorter term improvements, because this is something that will stay with us for the long term. It will help enable new players to come into the game and hopefully have a smoother game experience, that kind of thing. So regarding kind of UI scaling, we're the sort of the beta that was shown to players, we're going to do a couple of refinements to it, but it looks like it should be released quite soon, which is good. In terms of the longer term ask, that one of the kind of the bigger bits of feedback was actually, can we scale down, which again is a very valid ask, but it requires more work than, say, scaling upwards. So we'll probably release the version as it is for the time being, and then we'll be focusing on getting the mobile build ready, and then we'll probably look at scaling down after mobile launch. So we'll be kind of looking at that aspect further down the line.
Cool. Thank you very much. Osborne.
Hello.
This player asked this question. Hi, I'm Osborne. A lot of players in the community quite like a big game hunter. It's unique, it's fun, rewarding, and it's like something very active. It's like high effort, high reward. Are there more activities planned like this?
Yeah, again, it's one of those, it depends what you're looking for kind of answers. If you're looking for high intensity and high reward from your skilling, then absolutely we are interested in that. We're going to be doing that very soon. That there are some skills that are probably more on the AFK side, bank standing side, that could benefit from maybe lower cost, but more intensity. And we're going to be doing that very soon. Some of the content we've even kind of half announced as well. But if you're the thing with Big Game Hunter is I'm not sure that's what the question was asking. I think Big Game Hunter almost was a skilling boss. I mean, we could have announced it as a skilling boss and it would have been too far off. Is there kind of really expensive, lavish, almost getting into the similar kind of combat metas you get from bossing, but within skilling and having the loops that combat has in there? That's Big Game Hunter wasn't cheap. It was a big punt. And it largely paid off. It did quite well. Like quite a few people are playing it right now, even at high levels. But we have to make sure we choose the right skills. It can't happen as frequently. But I think that we will be doing more of that in the future. It's just you'll probably see play intensity, shorter form updates coming more frequently and sooner.
Cool. Thank you very much for that. Answer as well. Osborne, I'm going to stay with you. I've got 2 more for you, and one that I've seen an awful lot of times in chat already, so I'm going to make that jump the queue a little bit. Managing Miscellanea Remastered was announced at RuneFest last year. Is this still planned, or are we no longer working on this?
So yeah, I mean, full disclosure, we never started working on it beyond kind of one-sheet designs and high concepts, but of everything anything that we've announced at RuneFest from last year, this is the one that, if I'm being honest, is in the most danger. There's a number of reasons for that. Through doing the kind of one-sheet design work and high concepting and kind of doing a little bit of R&D on it, the amount of work needed to make what we wanted to do with the aims was huge. But also, it's managing Miscellanea. We've really struggled to make it feel part of what we're looking to do for the year. It feels so kind of over here and vestigial. It's not really fitting the story aims. It's not looking to do a lot of the things we want to do with remastering skills. Some of the things we want to do with combat, some of the kind of drop-off points with combat, getting people into bossing. There's a few things that we really want to kind of focus do next year, and this doesn't really fit them. So it can't really be done on a ninja level because I think it's like a bigger update. So then it starts falling between the cracks. Everything else that we talked about in that RuneFest is still possible and still very much there, but managing Miscellanea is in the most danger, I would say.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and that's a decision that's a decision that's like when we've gone into 2021 planning, that's kind of come out of that really more so than anything else, though, isn't it? So sort of the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of intensive 2021 planning. This is kind of, we had the first moments of 2021 in kind of noted down and knowing what we wanted to do. The real enjoyable bit is now what's going to happen towards the end of the year. What's going to happen at the end after this current season of Elder Gods and Kerapax and things like that. So it's really juicy time. We're getting to do a lot of the good stuff, but in that process, it's just it's off in a box over here. Managing Miscellanea Remastered just doesn't fit. So I do apologise because obviously I was on stage announcing all of these things. This is the one that looks like it might be a casualty. But the positive of all of this is we're looking like we've got a home for, the other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. I know you really like managing Miscellanea as well, Davis, but I know it was.
And Timbo as well. Timbo could wax lyrical for the next 10 minutes if you want.
It was my idea. It makes me sad.
Oh, all right. Moving on to something that we've done a long time ago. I think we're over a year now. But we made some changes to how the Comcape work. And are we planning to ever revisit this to make some more additions like we originally pitched for this?
Yeah, I was a big fan of the original design. Oh, sorry. Did you want me to answer it?
It was for you. It was for you, Osborne.
Thank you. But so, on one hand, there was a lot of kind of additional capes, additional kind of milestones to go for, and at the moment, we have no active plans to go for those. I mean, it may well happen, but a lot of the reasons we didn't do it was kind of complexity of what those achievements mean and whether or not we need them. But one of the things that the rework did let us do was attach achievements to upcoming content and also to really start adding more achievements to our current system. And those two will very much be, something that is ongoing and will be our initiative. You will see achievements for every update if we can. So that will continue. Orthen, we've just plugged in a load this week, and so that will continue, and we will probably fill out because if I'm being honest, achievements is really odd at the moment in terms of how sparse it is. You'll have lots of achievements for combat, not so many for certain skills, and that's not quite right. So we've also got plans there too. So the benefits of Take Rework will continue.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. I think we've mentioned this briefly in the past as well. But like the team that you are moving to as well, Osborne, is doing a lot of behind the scenes work to make make achievements work better.
Yeah, they're doing the God's work. They really are.
No
It's a lot of
big
work.
changes. They're doing a tons of work. Like, it's not gonna add more achievements or whatever for the place, but like in the backend for the servers and how it's gonna work, there's going to be some changes to achievements, which will hopefully set us up better for the future as well.
Yeah, you're spot on. Again, I'd like them to be on live stream talking about it themselves rather than me parroting it. But yeah, the majority of work is overcoming some tech hurdles, making achievements, work better with our kind of back end. But there are some kind of triage things that they've done, particularly Mod Stew, God bless him, to kind of recategorize and make it just more intuitive. So there are some benefits that will be kind of player facing. But again, I'd love them to talk about it themselves.
Yes. We're approaching to the end, and then we've got the questions from the chat as well. We recently had the Penguin D&D revamp, which is like we've not touched the D&Ds for a while. Is there a possibility of doing small scale revamps more often to diversions and distractions? And this player in instance already said that updating rewards would already be more than enough, for example. Osborne, would you like to take the lead on this one?
Me? I thought, what? Hello?
I said Osborne.
I'm happy to grab it. I just...
Yeah, you take it, Dave.
Okay, all right. So yeah, one of the joys of Penguin Hide and Seek, and we've seen some of the kind of data come in and stuff. Yeah, we look at data. Is that we've seen kind of the engagement with Penguin Hide and Seek, and that's great. We sat here on live streams like this before and said that there's no point really updating mini games because it doesn't bring people in, etc., etc. But with distractions and diversions, particularly those that are more opportunistic, like you come across them in the game world, things like shooting stars, evil trees, perhaps, it's really shown that you can make a massive improvement. And I'm really kind of infused by that. That's exciting news that you can make a dink. But obviously, one of the things I really like about this is it's a really kind of underlining that remastery as a whole is beneficial. And so the idea of updating something but also adding new content as you do it. So that's kind of greenlit, like, yeah, we could do more remastery stuff, and I would love to see more of it in the future. In fact, we've done strong planning.
Quick reminder that everything resets on Thursday morning, so you get your opportunity to get your penguins and your effigy incubator as well on Thursday.
Yes. Thank you. You saw the thing at the bottom there. Good job, JD. You can't resist to be the host inside you, can't you?
Well, it was a nice segue, so.
Oh, absolutely. You were just 10 seconds before I would have done it, and I appreciate that. Now you're talking anyways, JD. Would you be able to answer the following question as well? RuneFest, as we've already announced, won't be happening this year. Are there plans to do the event in a digital live stream kind of form with talks and keynote?
Would love to say yes, but unfortunately this year, what we're going to be focusing a lot of our efforts on is making sort of the Golden Gnomes a reality. Obviously, that's happening in November. We will, in terms of things like keynotes, we will be sort of taking a look at 2021 and all of that kind of stuff, and we will be sort of giving you an insight as to what we want to be doing with the content then. But it's likely to not be in kind of a RuneFest-like format. So unfortunately, we won't be having sort of a day of live streams or panel talks or anything like that. It's complicated doing it in a physical setting. It's kind of equally as complicated doing it in a digital setting or a virtual setting, whatever as well. So ends up being quite a difficult process to make happen. And we wanted to try and do it as we would do with RuneFest, have all the bells and whistles attached to it. With everything that's been going on globally at the moment, that became impossible, unfortunately. So we ran out of time to get it over the line. But as I say, if things like keynotes are what you're excited about and you want to know what's going on in kind of the next X amount of time, we will be kind of looking to do what we've done over the course of this sort of last 3 months or so, and give you a bit more of a view as to what's coming in the that we've confirmed up into the release schedule moving forward. It might not be quite as far forward as like a 12-month thing. Obviously, we know some of the challenges that are involved with doing that sort of thing, but it might be that we look at kind of the first quarter of 2021 or something like that.
Cool. Thank you very much. Do you also want to plug the GGAs now? Or is
Yeah.
that my job?
So if you, well, I mean, you can do it. You're the host. You do it.
Oh, yes. So the voting for the finalist of the Golden Gnomes is the 4th of October. So you think you've got yourself till Sunday midnight. If you haven't done that, make sure to do that and use !GGAS to vote and get the link for that. It's really cool. I'm very excited for it. We've got more votes than ever. We've got more awards than ever. So I think that is going to be a lot of fun. I'm genuinely very excited for it. I think a lot of people in the community management team are as well. And it's just going to be one big celebration of the community and all of you, really.
40,000 plus votes, isn't it? Something like that so far.
Yeah, we are at 44 last time I checked. And that's like
just
days ago.
Just 44. Just 44.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Exactly. So yeah, that's that. Moving on. I see it's almost 6 p.m. as well, so we're closing in on that. It's been a great stream so far. I've been loving the questions as well. When the PVM hub was released, there were plans to make improvements to the Max Guild. What happened to these improvements, Osborne?
Yeah, there was one. That was a job that was created off the back of War's Retreat. I think we were kind of paranoid that War's Retreat, because it was taking some of the functionality from Max Guild, that it wouldn't leave enough there to justify people going back there. But I don't think that really came out in the wash, as it were. Like, a lot of people are still using the Max Guild. The sentiment wasn't really that we'd stripped out everything. It still has a lot there. So it just kind of made it drop naturally down the pecking order. We might do some kind of ninja level things, Max Guild, but as a big Max Guild needs improving, probably moving to the Grand Exchange, etc. Sorry, meme. We won't be doing that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you very much. It makes sense, I think, what you said there. And then yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Like,
I feel validated.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you were seeking, right? Wasn't it?
Yes. Dutch validation.
One very, very nice, funky question to end the questions that we had from all the various Q&A threads and places we asked for questions. And this is a very long one. I'm going to read it out. And Model Spawn, I've heard that you've went to a great extent to find an answer to this question as well. Okay. In the quest Stolen Hearts, Kum confesses his love for coffee. Since there is no coffee to be found in the game, what's the current state of it? Is Kum delusional? Are coffee beans extinct? And does he have the last batch? Or are they just hidden in plain sight and our character doesn't know what to look for? The coffee stroopwafel exists. Does Poerkie know more about the secrets of coffee in RuneScape?
Oh, I love it. It's so vital. I love it. I don't know if you know this, but Num is pronounced Num. So because the joke is Num skulls, because he's skulls. So it's Num skulls.
Skulls.
This is Mod Rowley's little joke. Cheers, Mod Rowley. So yeah, it's his answer, having kind of tapped on his door, was that coffee exists. The player just hasn't found it yet. But if he's being honest, that he just really likes coffee. His blood is coffee. So the only reason it's there is because he wanted it to be. So this is the whims of a developer, putting in the things he loves. It's like me and bacon. Actually,
coffee is actually in a quest. It's in a really old quest, if you don't know what it is.
Really?
Yeah. This was one of Mod Maz's favourite bits of RuneScape trivia.
It wasn't in 100%.
I'm definitely not typing in the wiki right now.
It must be, it probably is documented on there.
I mean, there's a coffee stroopwafel.
Well, yeah, no, I know that. Obviously, I know. And while you're doing the research, JD, on which quest has coffee in it, I'm gonna go through some of the.
What does the chat say? I kind of want to
know. So one of the quick questions is: are we going to have a Halloween event this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice
and not.
Woo!
We're going for it. We're going for it. I think one of the things. Sorry, can I talk a bit more? Is that right?
Go for it. Go for it. I mean, if you can, please do.
Yeah, I think, like, you know, we've dilly-dallied over what a holiday event means over the years and things like that. But one of the things we really want to do is do an annualized seasonal event and make Halloween a place in the world that you go to every year, and it stacks up with content every year. You know, we had stories as well as the more kind of social eventy stuff, so it plays to a couple of crowds as well. We kind of feel like we've done it right this year, so hopefully you'll love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think on our live stream schedule, we're going to be hopefully talking about it in mid-October, I think. So we should hopefully be able to give you some insight into that, I think, in mid-October.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Another question that came up quite frequently in chat is if we will see or any information about a new boss. And I think the best currently is to wait for Elder Gold Wars Dungeons 3. I would probably say, isn't it?
No,
we're going to leave it at that.
We've got a new boss.
No,
we've got a new boss coming. We've got a new boss coming.
Yeah.
More Poerkie.
Come on, Poerkie.
Do we? I don't know if that was revealed information yet, so I was like, I'll just reiterate what we already had. But,
Mod Warden went to town and unleashed it.
Yeah,
right.
we had a 10-minute Warden monologue about about all of the content. So yeah, the boss was one of them. So yeah, we'll be having a boss. Plan is later this year.
Cool. All right.
Look out for information in upcoming content as well. We're seeding little bits, getting cheeky.
Like, I like the things in chat about now me being fired for this or not knowing what content is coming. I am just being aware of what things. Yeah, like I'm just trying to be aware what we are allowed and what we're not allowed to say about upcoming content because we like to hype things up, right? Yeah.
I can confirm it's not a pumpkin boss though, as people in the chat have suggested. It's not a pumpkin boss.
It is unrelated.
Oh, Dragon Pumpkin. Yeah.
That's that. Let me check. There was a question about Steam's other plans to sell or trade rune coins and bonds via Steam currency and stuff. There are currently no plans to do something like that, which is quite simple. There are a couple of questions about Orthen as well that we've written down. I'm going to save these because once we are going to be excavating more into Orthen next week, I think we're going to answer those questions. You're welcome thanks for correcting me earlier about that, Timbo. I'm taking my notes.
You've been using that dictionary again, more Poerkie.
I'm trying to. I also figured out what's wrong with my lighting, and I'll fix that for next time. The people were asking that. There is a question, or this has been asked quite frequently in the past as well. Any chance of updating the RuneScape character models? Would any of you three like to say something about that?
I mean, it's no surprise how monumental that kind of work would be. We're not talking just the models. We're talking about all of the items that a player would wear. We're talking about all the animations that they would perform. That's significant. But I mean, it's so clearly a problem or an opportunity, shall we say, for the opening game. Like you rock into the game, you go into character create. It's one of the first things you see. But yet we've got the kind of Emerithiel and other NPCs who look so good. You just kind of want them as player models. So yeah, it's huge. Please don't expect it anytime soon. But you can imagine that we are or have been exploring how much work that would be.
Yeah, I know Mod Warden is a particular advocate of updating those player models. So I'd like to think that it's something that we're kind of scoping or at least kind of taking some sort of notes on.
And we've got a new art director just joined us, who hopefully again will get in front of the camera and show off in live streams work and stuff like that. But like he's come in all guns blazing, and that's that's one of the things he'd love to fire a salvo at.
Mm-hmm. I am very conscious of time. We're already past 6 p.m, so I'll do one more question. And I saw one question which I've also seen popping up quite a few times over the past couple of weeks as well, which is will the HSR ring ever work with chests and such and double drops there as well? I think this is probably one you can give a little bit of a technical answer to, more Timbo.
Hopefully, no one's actively working on it. Someone was actively working on it, but there was a few problems with it, so they are not right now. but like, there's no design or balance reason why not. It's just a technical thing that needs to get implemented.
Is that something we can move over to Ninja or Timbo?
Sure. I mean, you can talk to
Yeah.
don't remember her mod name.
Repeatedly.
Modclayer. Modclayer.
Modclayer. But yeah, there's no reason
alright.
why not. There's no design reason. It's just been sort of lost in development.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for all the questions as well. I see there's still a couple of in chat. We've still got someone writing them down, so hopefully we will be able to pick them up next time. We're going to try and do our Q&As more frequently, about like once a month, maybe twice a month. We're going to try and mix it up. Sometimes have more leads on than others. But that's what we're aiming for. Make sure to get your Prime using !Prime and follow the links and everything there. We've got !GGAs to vote and everything else. Really excited for that. And there is one more that I forgot. What was the other command that we have? !Steam, because Steam is coming on the 14th of October, which is equally important. And that's it for today. We hope to see you all next time. And until then, look after yourselves and tot ziens. Where's the Dutch word? Osborne, quick.